Hello teachers, and welcome to this video on how to give an effective ending or wrap-up. After a mentally stimulating lesson, the students need a cool down period to really reflect and think about what they learned in their lesson. The idea is to not have it end abruptly. Now, this is easier said than done though. Whoa, I only got 2 minutes left. Okay, Jennifer, well, it was so nice to finally have this class with you. I would like you to do this slide for homework, and I will see you next week. Thank you, great job, bye-bye. Has this ever happened to you? Yes, it's happened to all of us. So how can we avoid situations like this? Well, in this video, we're gonna go over 6 important points on how to give an effective conclusion or wrap-up. Number 1, the question, what have we learned today? Now this exercise is mostly geared towards older students, but it could also be adapted to younger students as well. The point is for them to reflect on what they learned in the lesson and also to be able to explain it in their own words. Ask your student, so what did we learn today? Now, if you see that your student is struggling, you can ask them additional questions. For example, do you remember what this word means? Could you use it in a sentence? Or, what happened to this character in the story today? Can you tell me? The key is to talk less and to get your student to re-explain it to you. This is a great exercise for the student, but also for you as a teacher, because it can help you see what parts they didn't really understand and where you can help them. Let's look at Step Into Reading G3 Lesson 3 as an example. The lesson talks about a 3-year-old dog named Ansley that helps sick children. And the material covers the 4 vocabulary words: therapy, fetch, command, and furry. In the conclusion, you could maybe scroll up to the image of the dog and you can ask the student, so what did we learn today? And hopefully the student will be able to give you a brief summary of the story or explain what the dog did to help people. You could guide them to think about the vocabulary words, and you can ask them things like, well, today we learned the word command. Do you remember what commands Ansley learned? Sometimes you'll notice that the student already knows the vocabulary language, but there is always 1 or 2 new words that they have never heard before. And you want to use the conclusion to make sure that the student understood that word. Okay, let's move on to number 2, the what's this question. Now this exercise is with younger learners in mind. You can scroll up to the slide with the vocabulary target language, maybe point out a picture or an image and ask them, so what's this? Do you remember what's this? Or, if for example, the student was learning verbs, you could ask them, do you remember what this is? Yes, splash. Can you splash? Psh, 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 splash, splash, splash. To make it fun, you could even use like a puppet or a little prop. Okay, so do you remember what this word is? Another form to play this game is to use charades. So you can act out a verb and you can ask the student, for example, hey, do you remember? What am I doing? Yes, run, 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 running. Good, let's run, run, run. And you can do this for animals, for colors, verbs, etc. Well, let's look at Step Into Reading GK Lesson 16 as an example. To help the student remember all the animals that were learned in that lesson, you could maybe take a picture of each animal and place them on the blackboard. You could say, let's review the animals we learned today, and then do the exercise. You could circle the zebra and ask them, what's this? Or you could even make an animal sound and ask them what animal it is. Like, what animal am I? Yes, a monkey. Wow, you did an awesome job today. Let's say bye-bye to all the animals. Bye-bye lion, bye-bye zebra, bye-bye monkey. Bye-bye Teacher Wendy. See you next time. Number 3 is a goodbye song. Now this is especially good for younger learners because they're energetic, they're active, And many times the little ones, they don't really have a good sense of time. So by doing this goodbye song, it really helps the student see that class is about to finish. Now there's many goodbye songs that you can find on YouTube, online, or maybe you can even create your own. One I like to use is the Goodbye Song by Dream English Kids because it only lasts 1 minute. As I mentioned, including a goodbye song is awesome because it helps the younger learners realize that the class is almost finished. And now if you're using a goodbye song for the first time, don't forget to show them the steps. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Now go down, 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 down. So number 4 is read and make sentences with the new vocabulary. Now this is similar to point number 1, however this focuses more on source materials with vocabulary words like step into reading, wonders. Now during this review, you can ask the student to pick a word that they learned for the day and to create their own sentence with it. Now if you see that they're struggling, you can help them out. Maybe you can even create your own sentence with a blank spot and have them put the correct word in the blank. Or you could also play Taboo, which is a game where you describe the word but don't give them super obvious hints, and then they have to guess which word you picked. Let's look at Step Into Reading G2 Lesson 38 as an example. So in this lesson, the student learned these 4 vocabulary words: crash, narrow, rock, and solid. In your conclusion, you could choose one of the vocabulary words you saw the student maybe struggling with during the lesson and ask them, hey, so do you remember what this word means? Can you maybe use it in a sentence? If you see them struggling, you could maybe create your own sentence and have them put the correct vocabulary in it. For example, the cart did not fit because the street was too... What word is it? Or you could also play the Taboo game and say something like, if you fall asleep driving, this could happen to you. And of course the word is crash. Awesome job! You really comprehended the key words in today's lesson. Let's find out what we're going to learn in our next lesson. You did such a great job today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Doing exercises or games like this will help the student fully ingrain and refresh their memory on the target language learned in that lesson. Number 5 is to praise the student. Don't forget to use this as an opportunity to really make the student feel happy about their efforts that have been made and for you to point out their strengths. Now it's true, we do file a progress report or just a simple report after our lesson, but it's not the same. Students need to hear it directly from you, from their teacher. So tell your student that you are proud of their progress. Let them know what areas they excelled in that particular lesson. Give them one last little prize or trophy to end the class. And of course, don't forget to tell them that you look forward to seeing them very soon. Now let's look at an example, Science Fusion G2. In this lesson, you learn about the 5 steps of the design process with engineers. So if you're ending the class, let's say your student did a wonderful job, really comprehended, really was able to understand the steps of engineering. You could say something like, wow, you did awesome in today's class. I just want to say that I loved your ideas on how to improve the back scratcher. You really understood the steps on redesigning, and I just want to thank you so much for always handing in your homework on time. You do such a great job with that. You make such a great effort. I'm really, really proud of you. I look forward to seeing your awesome homework assignment. Keep up the good work. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Now, something that's also really important to include in our conclusion is, of course, our homework assignment. Since eJoy has created the eJoy Leveled Reading Program, assigning homework is way easier with the Step Into Reading series. However, there's lots of materials, for example, like Science Fusion or Right Source or Wonders, where the homework is a little bit more complex, and that's why it's so important for you to take the time to explain the homework. You need at least 1 minute to carefully explain the homework assignment so your student isn't lost or worried. To help save you time for your following lesson, encourage your student to print out the page, take a picture of the homework once it's filled in, and then send it to you via the class in chat. Really make sure the student understands the homework and ask them, do you have any questions? So let's go ahead and look at an example in Right Source G1 Lesson 8. For the homework assignment, the student must pretend they are an ant looking at a big truck. Before you assign them the work, you could ask them, hey, what do you see in the picture? Yeah, an ant and a truck. What do you think the ant thinks of the big truck? Yes, maybe he thinks it's big and scary. For homework, you are going to imagine that you are the ant and you are going to describe what you think of the truck. Can you read the list of what you will describe? Great, I would love for you to print this page out, fill in the blanks, and send me a picture of it to my chat. I really want you to use your imagination, make it funny. I can't wait to see it. Have a great week. Setting time aside for an effective conclusion or a wrap-up has amazing benefits. First of all, it helps the student to refresh their memory, review, and fully ingrain the target language or what they learned in that class. And it also helps you as a teacher see what they actually understood in the lesson and maybe even see what they need to improve on, where you can help them. So try to think ahead of time what conclusion or what exercises you're gonna have at the end of the class. Maybe even stick it in your class guideline to help you remember. We as teachers are always constantly sharing our ideas, so go ahead and ask other teachers what they use for their conclusions. I really hope that this video included some helpful tips for you. Really think about your conclusions and the effects, the positive effects it can have on your student. Thank you so much for watching and happy teaching!